Oh, hello, and welcome back to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. It is Monday, March 8th, and it is our 50th episode. We're like a dog that's getting old fast. We're a married couple on 50 years. What are you getting for our gold anniversary? I don't know. In this episode, we'll discuss typical City back in the Manchester Derby. I still feel terrible. The new and improved Europa League Bizarro Spurs, now with more Premier League. The return of European football. But first, I have an opinion. I'm going to discuss the real and proper idea of, I'll wait to the end. Liverpool, we know, lost, yes, on Saturday, 1-0 to Fulham. Never looked in it. Didn't really even create any chances. It was the 45th different version of Liverpool that Klopp tried to use. He's now rotating his squad after, not rotating it for 3 years. Liverpool it's not a blip. They've lost 6 in a row for the first time since Hitler was writing Mein Kampf in the prison in Bavaria.
No, before that.
Oh, before, yeah, in the teens. It's not
Hitler was still in his daddy's balls at this point.
It's not even injuries at this point. They're legitimately falling apart. There's no Klopp blame. Any other manager of any other big club in the world. Now, I know he won the league after 30 years, but let's discuss it. Is it his fault? He ran the team into the ground. There's no fire from Liverpool. There's no soul. There's nothing. But I know where the soul of Liverpool is. It's north of the border. Liverpool's heart and soul has been taken by Rangers in the Scottish League. They're better than Aberdeen. They're better than Celtic. A team with 54 championships. Steven Gerrard, after 10 years, after Rangers went bankrupt, has brought Rangers to their 55th championship. After they prevent the dreaded Celtics from winning 10 in a row, Steven Gerrard. His fire, his leadership, he's slowly rebuilt Rangers from season to season, improving year after year to now being undefeated. Only giving up 9 goals all season. Gerrard has won the Scottish League. And more importantly, actually has Rangers in the round of 16. This is real. Steven Gerrard is the king in the north. He could re-energize Liverpool. The pressure would be off. He wouldn't have to win the league. He could reap the reward of re-energizing Liverpool and taking his place back in the pantheon of the club. The hashtag is Gerrard in, Klopp out.
I love it. I have to say, I would love to meet your drug dealer. I really need some of the shit you're on. I'm a big fan of the idea, but let's talk about what actually so Liverpool, you're right. You hit on this. Nobody has given Klopp an ounce's worth of shit for.
It was like one period where he went a little nutty and was like complaining for 5 minutes.
Okay. So, but let's get a quick oral history of what's happened here. Right. So, going back, I don't know, maybe a month or so, maybe 2 months.
Top of the league.
They were top of the league again, like looking as if they were finally rounding into form without Van Dijk, without Henderson, without this player,
right,
without that player, all that stuff. They were riding the ship. I don't remember when exactly, but they started faltering, started losing a little bit here and there.
It's the loss at home. This the Burnley game.
It was the first game. Burnley beat them January 21st, and then all of a sudden they lose to United in the fourth round of the FA Cup. They beat Tottenham. Don't want to talk about it. But they lose to your beloved Brighton. They get absolutely shit waxed by Manchester City. So that's twice in a week
game.
where
that
Laurent.
was the one where Allison just made mistakes. It wasn't even like
right, exactly. But that's
they
exactly
played okay.
They right. So they played okay, but they beat themselves essentially, right? And then here you go. Leicester City 3-1, Everton 2-0, Chelsea 1-0. And Fulham 1-0, and here we are, right?
Yeah,
so
it just like happened. It just
boom,
the wheels fell off.
I think it was before the City game, but when Jurgen Klopp's mom died, and everybody was like, "Ah, fuck," because he was being a prick to the
He got
press
salty for a minute.
for the first like the 2 weeks before that. And his mother passed away and he couldn't be anywhere around his family.
Yeah.
And everybody went, right, okay. Yeah, let's give this guy a pass for a little while, or else he's gonna bite somebody's fucking head off.
Yeah, I mean those 2 wins. I mean, they lost at Burnley, but I think the Tottenham and West Ham wins, you felt they were okay, right?
Yeah,
they were okay. I was like, oh, they'll be all right, and then they just fell off a cliff because Brighton, the machine.
Well, let's be clear: Leicester and Everton are good teams.
Yeah.
Chelsea's a good team, and Fulham. I mean, that was a capitulation, but you're still in the Champions League. You know, you're still, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But these are 3 losses to really, really good teams. We've talked ad nauseum about Brighton and how their ability to or inability to finish. So, does that surprise me? No, actually, not really. That they found
any team that loses to Brighton should not be a surprise. But then when they lose, it is a surprise. They by the way, I'm not even going to talk about them this week. They found a new way to lose this week.
But yeah, I think ever since his mom passed away, which I'm not weaponizing. Let me be very clear about this. This is a horrible thing that happened to anybody.
When your mother dies, it's not good.
It's fucking horrible, right?
Yeah.
But okay, let's be clear about something. He is in charge of the second biggest team in the country, right?
Yes, it's one of the
United
top clubs
the biggest.
in the country, in the world. Liverpool is one of the top
in the world
football brands in the world, right? It's like Real Madrid.
Yes,
it's up
and
there.
He
it's
has
that
a lot
group.
to do with that.
It's that group. That group of Real.
And he has a lot to do with that to bring them from the second tier to that tier. So nobody's under the impression that he didn't create absolute incredible memories and greatness there. 2 consecutive Champions League finals, including 1 trophy, and then a subsequent Premier League trophy. The man has earned the right to walk on water in every rational sense of the world. The problem is that Liverpool is not rational. No, because no big football club is. No. Right. So at some point, it should have been after Fulham, because it realistically probably should have been after the Everton game, because that's a huge game that they never lose. But with Fulham coming into your house and just stomping on you, and there was just no fight from Liverpool. So now now
you open a door to my man Gerrard.
But that's the thing, is they haven't, right? They haven't even said. If there were if it were Ole, if it were Jose.
Yeah, but if Ole's running Man United, then freaking Gerrard can run Liverpool.
Oh, no.
Because he's actually winning things.
Well, he's winning things in a Scottish Farmers League. But I'm not worried so much about, opening the door for anybody. I kind of want somebody to throw shit at him one time. One mean headline. Just one. That's all I want. I get it. His mom said.
You want Klopp to suffer before Gerrard takes the job.
No, I just want to see the heat on the seat.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Well, what's funny is even Brendan Rodgers didn't really get heat. He had a kind of a bad season. They're like, "Oh, Klopp's gonna come. Oh, you're fired. Okay, see you later.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy."
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. I mean, I just think that Gerrard is positioning himself for the job. He's actually won something. He's going to go against Slavia Prague, who beat Leicester in the round of 16 in the Europa League. Like, when does it matter that you win the Scottish League? And I'm not being funny, and we don't know this. We're not super duper heavy duty soccer heads. We're not like have all the history, but Rangers are as big a club as big English clubs. They're up there with the Villas, that second group down, the Villas, the Wolves. I mean, this is a big fucking club, right? And when where the pressure might not be felt the way it's felt in England, and it's not part of the narrative, but Rangers fans expect to win all the time. Sure. They have the pressure the way that Liverpool has pressure, even though they go dormant. So to win there and win the way he has, with undefeated 24-0, 88 points, 2.75 points per game. Just an incredible record. They're the best team in Europe, period. If you went just by statistics, it's a big deal. And to win with that level of winning, I think is worth considering if Klopp is burnt out, if Klopp's soul is crushed because his mother's dead, if Klopp just really wants to go home. And it's just like, you know what? I wrang the most out of this group as I can. A lot of the guys are in their upper half of their 20s. Maybe on the downside, a lot of 28s, a lot of 29s, Van Dijk's 30 with a bad ACL. Allison's dad just fucking drowned. Like, if there's a time to get out when things are weird, it's now. Like, Mane, hey, he had COVID. He's African. He's not talking about how shitty he is afterwards. Something could have happened. I'm just saying, get out before Liverpool crumbles and they take you down with you.
And so we've seen this story before, right?
Yeah, Dortmund. Although it was much worse at Dortmund.
No, not so much with that. I mean, in the Premier League, we've seen a team.
Pochettino, yeah.
Completely fall apart at the seams mid-season after, actually, while having one of the most meteoric, unpredictably great rises. But so you had the success without the trophies. We don't have to talk about that part. But like, you had a team that played a very similar attacking style to Liverpool. Not the Gengen press, but basically the Gengen press's fucking cousin.
Yeah, so, Bielsa style.
Right. So you have the wheels falling off the wagon, and
it happens.
And the poor guy is just still managing the horses, looking at everybody going, no, we're okay. We're okay. Just keep going straight. Just keep going. Yeah. That's the only way we know how to go.
When you think about it, I was watching a Liverpool game and seeing all those subs come in, seeing Keita, seeing Shaqiri, seeing these guys. These were the guys that were supposed to give the blow and give them the opportunity to rest. Keita's a failure.
Yeah.
Not because of his own fault. He's hurt, but he was the guy who's supposed to be like, why the fuck is James Milner is 36 years old? He was done 10 years ago. Why is he still playing in central midfield for the defending champions? I mean, it's one thing to have like, it's funny, boring James Milner. James Milner should not be playing, right? You shouldn't have
Liverpool
extra man buns playing in the back line. So, I mean, we spent a lot of time at Liverpool. What I really wanted to say was just Gerrard in. I
could see it in the event that Klopp is tired and he just walks away, which is possible.
He could.
Which is possible. He doesn't
have to do anything. He won everything you need to win. The only thing he didn't do was win back-to-back, which, as we know, is really fucking hard unless you have a Qatari oil state behind you.
And even then.
So, Mike.
So they lose 1-0 to Fulham. It was a great start to the weekend because I was like, holy shit, this is going to get weird. And it did a bit. We saw Arsenal kind of shit the bed against Burnley. That was enjoyable.
But that had some serious controversies. We had handball, VAR all over the place.
Yeah.
We had one VAR that was right. Basically, they called a handball on the goal line with a red. They reversed it, which was cool for Burnley. But then they actually had a handball. Like, the handball rule is a mess. I've talked about VAR all season. This was another shit show from Arsenal, and a Xhaka shit show. It was a real, like, they're playing out for the back. He basically kicks it off a guy who puts it in the goal, which is pretty pathetic.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. My Southampton right the ship. They're not going down. They're fine. Sheffield United in the news. Chris Wilder throwing haymakers at his team. He's like, some guys should be off the team. I just can't get rid of them now. And then he goes on to say, well, I'm missing my guys that I know I can go with. He names his back line who's missing: O'Connell, Ronald, Ronald McDonald. I forget their names. Basham. Yeah. The guys who got him up
Ronald
and
Reagan.
have been with him, right, and have been with him for like 4 different promotions. He's like, yeah, and I got these guys. And you're just like, whoa, damn. He's like, I'm going down. I'm going to get fired. I'm throwing them under the bus with me. Because any normal manager would have gotten fired by now, right? Like, for Sheffield United.
Let him see it out. Let him keep getting them checks as a wise man.
Yeah. So the Blacklands derby did not do anything. Aston Villa, Wolves, nothing happened until Grealish gets back. I'm not watching Villa, although Emi Martinez was incredible as usual. Leicester found a new way to. Brighton found a new way to lose. They were shockingly up 1-0, bossing the game. Who knew? Of course, Leicester found a way, and then our new and improved goalkeeper in Brighton just completely does the old butterfly net, swings at the ball, misses it. He made incredible saves. I forget the guy's name, Ramirez, whatever the fuck his name is. But that's not racist. I just know he's Spanish, but don't know which Spanish guy it is. And Brighton lose again. They're now really in the relegation zone, like 2 points.
We've got such a fun fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm already sad for what might be Brighton, but I'm so optimistic for Fulham. I really am.
Yeah.
And I look at Newcastle has the game in hand, fine, but
Newcastle are bad. You cannot
horrible.
get a 0-0 against West Brom and you want to stay up.
And the other thing is, so if it comes down to goal difference, it's gonna be
Brighton has a 1 point lead. It can't be tied. You've got to be better.
Correct. But what I'm saying is that Newcastle's only 1 point better, and they're worse off significantly on goal difference. So
yeah, because Brighton are actually good.
No, I know. Let's hope.
Which drives me nuts.
Let's hope for a 3.
Oh, I love how we buried the headline of the Manchester Derby.
I mean, no, because you know why? Like, not because Laurent's a City fan and they got waxed. It's you know why? Because I said it on Thursday.
It didn't matter.
They could have ran me and you out there as center backs. It didn't fucking mean dick.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't. The only time it means anything is
when it matters.
For Ole.
Yeah, it matters.
No. In this specific case, it matters for Ole and good for him. It matters for United fans, and it matters to just rub against Pep's nipples.
Yeah.
Not even.
I mean,
really.
The thing is, it happened.
Like,
it happens. It happens all the time. There was the Centurion season.
Yes.
City was about to win the league and set the record for points. Win it against United. Had a 2-goal lead at the half. Vincent Kompany scores the goal. It's a fucking party. The fans are there, and Pogba just put United on his back, and they just won that thing. I remember Chris Smalling scoring a goal, 2 headers. There's a weirdness about United. And one of the things that happens as a City fan, whenever City lose, they lose the same way. And it makes you feel like this is what happens in the Champions League. It's dominance, going down a goal early on a sucker punch, and this inability to come back. City don't come back. It's very weird. If they go down a goal, they never come back. It's bizarre.
I did give you shit for that on Thursday, so that's fair. I'll give you that.
They never come back. But City,
can I ask you a question?
28 shots, 6 on target. They hit the post twice. It happens.
Yeah, you needed a day where everything didn't fall into place and all that stuff, and you got sucker punched early, like you said, and it happens. Can I ask you a question though? That Centurion team, because I was going to mention that game as well.
Yeah.
When you won the league a week later, did you think about that game ever again?
No, but I'm not from Manchester. I'm sure
that's fair.
That's sucks fair. If you live in the city.
Oh, what a shitty thing to happen that you don't get the gold-plated version of your trophy celebration.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this. It's like if the Yankees won the World Series but lost the Subway Series to the Mets.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter.
I would go over to my friends who are Mets fans and I would kick them in their balls and laugh at them. Be like, hey, congratulations on that 6 games in June, you douchebag.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It matters for Ole. You know, should I be coming around on him? Maybe. I mean, United played, they were great. Like, they defended so well. Wan-Bissaka is fucking incredible, man. That dude, he basically shut down a whole side of the field by himself. Like, Raheem Sterling disappeared, and anyone near Raheem Sterling disappeared.
But yeah, that's what that was my takeaway, was that he was just on Raheem Sterling like stink on shit the whole game.
Anything that went near that area, like he just has these, freaking Dr. Octopus legs, and he stops things. The problem is because they can do that because City's coming onto them. But if you sit deep, like City could beat United any day of the week. They just have to sit back a little bit, but they never do.
Take them out of the show a little bit.
They'd be like, well, but it's just a weird.
Well, didn't that happen? No, that happened the last time they played. It was the 0-0 game.
Yeah.
And it was like, you guys want the ball? No, not really. You want the ball?
Well, that was when City was trying to do their transition. We were like, well, who are we right now? We're defensive. Right. We've got this part down. And then they figured out, let's just turn Gundogan into Silva. Oh, okay. And then the whole thing just went again.
Yeah, it clicked.
But the other problem is City need a striker. I mean, we create chances and just Jesus is terrible. He runs hard. He does all these things. He caused the penalty.
I was going to say, at the very least, you need a striker who's not going to put you down 1-0 in the first minute.
I know. It's just one of these things. But let's talk about your zombie Spurs.
I'm excited too. Sure. So imagine my surprise.
Yeah. They're playing the team we wanted to see the whole year.
What I would say is this was the first time we got to see Kane, Bale, and Son against what I would characterize as like a worthy opponent. Mid-table
Defensively.
Premier League team. Yeah, sure, they're defensive, you're gonna have the ball, but like Crystal Palace is worthy of an effort.
It's a name brand team.
Right? Like, okay. And they did play defensive, and Zaha was not on the field for the first half, and he did come on at halftime, which actually speaks to the yeah, and he almost scored a goal right away. And it speaks to actually that Spurs were dominant in the second half. And the one major delineation between this and every other game they've played this season, for what at least they've played in the last 2 months, is they scored the second goal. It was great. It's Kane and Bale hooking up for the second of 2 goals, and then they went right back. Now, granted, the third goal was an absolute worldie from Harry Kane. Holy
that thing was
shit.
fucking incredible.
Oh God, tailing away from the keeper. Those goals are so rare, by the way. Usually it's curving around, but curving over the guy. I could go on. We're doing another episode. Episode 51 is going to be just about that shot. But even at 3-1, they didn't really sit back, right? Until the last 10 minutes or so. But they got the fourth one. They kept going. So color me surprised, because it sounds like this Jose team is growing up a little bit, and it sounds like Jose is adjusting ever slightly his strategy, right? I alluded to this after the Burnley win. They were still sitting back. They were still playing counterattacking, and that's true in this game as well. But the difference is that they were getting up the field and pressing at least a little bit.
It doesn't have to be a lot.
Doesn't have to be a lot. It just can't be 10 men basically close to your own 18-yard box, right?
I think the big difference is, and I don't know if Sissoko's hurt, but the one holding midfielder instead of 2, because that just opens everything up a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you've also seen, and to his credit, he didn't play this weekend, but Serge Aurier has really grown into arguably a Premier League average right back. He was always a very good attacking, basically wing back, but he's at least league average defending now. Yeah. And I think that's 100% to Jose's credit. And I have to give him the props for that. But what happens is that you no longer need Sissoko to babysit him.
Yeah. Yeah. But
right?
I mean,
and Doherty played on Sunday.
Yeah. Reguilón and Doherty is awesome. Like, that's a
right. Oh God.
Well, that's what fun. I love to see. Spurs has too many good players to be Jose'd. That's what's so frustrating about it.
So now we've got a conundrum of on our hands that we didn't think we would have.
Or you have more ways to play.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. And the idea being that, like, if you were to, I like Lucas coming off the bench for a number of reasons, because he's basically a piranha in his own half.
He's good in that 10 spot because he doesn't have to create. He just has to be an animal.
He's all right. He did create one of the goals. I can't remember, but it was one of the goals was directly off of a turnover caused by Lucas. I think it was Bale's first. But nonetheless, I like, yes, you're absolutely right, but I like him as a sub rather than a starter. I don't think he's a creator. I think he's nipping at your heels. He's a guy you bring on. Lamela is another one. He's a guy you bring on if you are up a goal and you do want to kind of shithouse the game away. You bring him on and let him just run after people. Yeah, let him have the ball in your own half and let him kind of just nip their ankles the whole time. So I do think that this team is maturing. I think that Jose has got a much better grasp on how to handle them now than he did 2 months ago. I don't know what the fuck took so long. I mean, you had Son and Kane, by the way, on a historic tear, which is actually true, because they did set a record on Sunday.
Most assists between most shared goals, whatever creation.
But okay, so 14, right? I think was the record.
Yeah,
12 of those came before Thanksgiving. So, like, come on, Jose,
it's been a while.
Get more out of that.
Yeah,
you got to get more out of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one of the things I feel good. One of the things I know about just listening to football stuff for a while now is an additional player can reinvigorate the team. Like, Son and Kane have got to be like, oh, we don't have to do this on our own. Let's just give it to Gareth. He'll do something. Like the movement on the headed goal where he runs into space, puts his hand up, the ball doesn't come. It's the cross over to Harry, and Harry heads it into that space.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one mistake made, but then it got corrected. I mean, they got to be over the moon to play with each other. And I wonder, I heard something that Mourinho said, something to the effect of, I needed to get Bale to believe that he wasn't going to get hurt.
Yeah.
That his body, that he could play, that he didn't have to be scared. Right. I think that's probably half of it. He's like, we don't know what goes on. Like, he probably comes to him after every game and Bale just goes, I don't know. Something hurts.
Dude,
I'm afraid my hamstring's going to go, or this is going to go, or I don't want to push. I don't want to push in practice. Or he sees him in practice. He doesn't like what he sees. He goes, hey, Bale, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't want to. I think my hamstring's going to go. I think my shoulder's going to go. So maybe he's just like, I just need you to practice. If you practice, you'll play. And he just wore him down. And now Bale's like, okay, I guess I'll just practice until I get hurt, or it doesn't seem like I'm getting hurt. I'll play. So,
well, success cures a lot of things, right? So he had a mild amount of success in the Europa League. That doesn't count, right? You could almost see, no, it doesn't. No. At this stage of the season, it's bullshit, right? Like, it's legitimately exhibition games. It's Bale going out there going, great, cool. He scores. He goes, all right, thanks, guys. Like, there was no celebration when he scored.
Ask fucking Brendan Rodgers how he feels about not being in Europa League. I'm sure he would want to be in it. Maybe.
No, we said that we said we were happy to. No, but what I'm saying is that, like, it wasn't the thing to get him into that mentality, right? Yeah. He needed a longer stretch of confidence on the training pitch rather than in games, because the games he was getting wasn't working. Even when he scored the winner early on against, I forget who, it might have been Brighton, actually. There was that moment where you're like, yes, he's back. And then, the confidence, the stamina, the fitness, it wasn't there.
But it's the mental. I can play, right? Yes. I'm sure he was fine the whole time, but he didn't believe it.
I think he was shades of it, but I think you're right. There was certainly something mental going on. So,
and then speaking of, we have Europe, and we should just cover this because we have two, like, scary moments we have kind of like a changing of the guard in 3 games almost. We've got Juve versus Porto. Porto's up a goal.
Wow, yeah.
Cristiano. Juve's at home. You'd expect them to go through, but they're gasping, and Pirlo's a little not great. It's what could happen if Gerrard actually went back to Liverpool. But Pirlo never coached anywhere. At least Gerrard is got 3 years under his belt. We've got PSG versus Barcelona. Barcelona playing well. PSG up 4-1. Could they fuck it up again?
Oh my God.
Like, if you're a PSG fan and this matters to you, you are petrified. You're like, this can't happen again.
Okay. I just got secondhand anxiety because Pochettino's their coach, and I feel sad already. And if Barcelona,
oh my God, I didn't even think of that.
That's it. They're gonna run him out of town. I'm gonna get on the first flight to Paris and just to hug my man. Just tell him it's gonna be okay, and he should come back home. For those that don't know, like, Barcelona, wait, real quick, I gotta recap it. Barcelona had been famously down 3 goals with 10 minutes left to PSG about 4 or 5 years ago.
It was 6-3. It was 6 something on aggregate. It has a name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when the 80th minute struck, it was 6-3. And it finishes 6-6.
Right.
But
that was
Barcelona goes through.
Neymar went batshit in that game.
He really did.
that was amazing. Dortmund is falling apart. They come off a loss to Dortmund where they were up 2-0. And I said, oh, what's this game going to end? 5-3? It ended 4-2.
Yeah.
So Dortmund's shit, but they're playing Sevilla, who are, they're up 3-2.
But it's 3-2. They're up 3-2 in aggregate, which means if Sevilla they need to get 2.
Yeah, they need 2.
They need 2. So that's not a tall order.
Not against Dortmund, it's not hard. And then the steaming carcass of Liverpool versus Leipzig. Can Nagelsmann pull something out of his ass to beat? But that would mean Liverpool lose 7 in a row at home on a European night.
Will they lose this game?
Well, they could lose. They could lose and still go through.
I think listen to this. 3-1 Leipzig, Liverpool go through. No, then it would be Leipzig if it was tied. Oh shit, that's what I want. I want 3-1 Leipzig.
And then
Shining fraud.
We've got the superstars. We've got City playing Gladbach next week. We can talk about that later. But the big one in that one is Chelsea up a goal versus Atletico. That's in the balance. And we didn't talk about it, but Chelsea played today. They had their Luftwaffe in the pitch today. They had Havertz and Werner and Tuchel and all the Germans that you can shake a stick at. They played well. They beat Everton. But, you know, I think the thing about the Premier League right now is like all the good coaches are in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Across Europe, except for Pochettino.
I was going to say, except for Poch.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to give Hansi Flick a shout out? Okay, fine.
And Zidane, I guess. You can't win 3 titles.
Is Zidane a good coach?
Yeah, I know. He just had peak Ronaldo. I get it. And peak everybody.
Yeah, but 3 Champions League in a row is no joke. That's mentality monsters. But they didn't win the league in any of those seasons except
I know.
When they lost.
I have a Chelsea take.
Yeah.
Is Christian Pulisic a flop at Chelsea? Now, before you answer, he's 22 years old. He's 22 years old.
I think he's too small and his body just breaks down.
Okay.
I think he needs to play either at a slower pace league or he needs to get bigger because it seems like he's always going to get hurt until he doesn't. But you know how it is with players getting injured. The more you get injured, the more you tend to get injured. So I fear for him that he's like a 20-minute player. And I think Tuchel, who had him at Dortmund, literally said that today. He's like, you know, I'm really sorry. I know how good he is off the bench. So I kind of use him off the bench.
Right.
So he's playing him like he's 17 years old, but he is tiny. I mean, what's he weigh? 130 pounds?
I don't know that that's necessarily the problem so much. I mean, it's muscular stuff, right? It's not like ankle. It's not like I hate to use this example because it's the one I'm familiar with, but Kane always gets stuck into tackles and shit like that. It's always an ankle or a knee or something with him, right? Yeah. No, I know. It's better almost to me that it's muscular, off the ball, interesting. And it's not off the ball like you blew something.
But
it's like
hamstrings that keep going.
Yeah, I know.
Which is bad.
If you were to guess how many Chelsea in all competitions, how many Chelsea attacking players have more minutes than Christian Pulisic this year, how many would you guess?
7.
5. He is 6th. Mason Mount has the most minutes of anybody on the fucking team, including the goalkeepers. Timo Werner, for some reason. Right? Havertz does. Ziyech and Tammy Abraham. He is just ahead.
To show how weird the team is. Like, it's really a deep team that no manager until Tuchel has really figured out. Like, you could see, like, if Pep had Chelsea, they'd score 100 points because he'd know what to do.
Well, here's a dumb question.
Yeah.
Has he figured out the forwards?
Who? Tuchel? Not yet. No.
Tuchel.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying this is not an indictment. He's come in and done a fantastic job, and I'm not taking anything away from him. But he's got 4 goals in 4 games.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. I think the difficulty is I think that they were trying to solve it. They thought that Werner would be like, we've got our striker. But the curse of the fucking Chelsea drummer, of the Chelsea striker, strikes again. Shevchenko, Torres, all of them. They just come in and they're terrible. Morata, all of them. They just never good.
Yep.
So
then here's the question.
They've had one.
Then if we know how Roman Abramovich is, he loves new shiny toys. And I'm not saying they get Haaland, they get somebody. They're gonna bring somebody in, right?
You know what? Abramovich is not running the team. It's Marina.
It doesn't matter.
He's not there.
Okay, fine. But Chelsea, in and of themselves, like they just got rid of the
institution. Yeah.
They just the institution of Chelsea just jettisoned basically their greatest player ever, right? They're not going to sit around and wait for this kid to figure it out, but because he's got a leaky hamstring, right?
But somebody bought him for $80 million.
Sure. But somebody bought Werner too. And somebody bought
you know what they'll do? Once the shirt sales start to go down, they'll just
exactly. That's exactly my point. I said it in our second episode, which by the way, this is our 50th fucking episode. Good job, Laurent. This has been fun.
We're doing it.
But I said in our second episode that the same way that Alex Morgan was just a shirt sale cash cow for Daniel Levy, Christian Pulisic was that for Chelsea. Now, if that were the case, it was for shirt sales and market share in the US. Mission accomplished. You've done it, right?
They talk about Pulisic every broadcast at Chelsea.
Every broadcast.
Yeah, even when they're shoehorning it in, and Danny Higginbotham's like, why are we talking about this guy?
Yeah. Oh, right, because I'm in Stamford, Connecticut. Right. But no, I think that they might cut bait on him this summer for less than they paid. And
Yeah,
I think
mean, there's teams that I'd like to, of course, I'd love to see him go to Brighton. No, he's what Brighton don't need.
I would love to see him go. Well,
the one I want in Brighton is now. I have like 14 strikers for Brighton now.
Well, he's not your guy.
Tammy Abraham in Brighton.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good.
So good.
He's not your guy. Once upon a time, I did want Christian Pulisic to unite with Mauricio Pochettino, and I thought that would be a match made in heaven. And I thought Pochettino would be the man to bring the U.S. a World Cup.
Pulisic is a City player, but that he's just like classic Pep. He doesn't have to run with the ball. He's small. He's technical.
Yeah.
He could rotate in and out. I mean, is he different from fucking Bernardo Silva? No, he's the same guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
With a better finish, to be honest.
And he's shit Mahrez. Shit righty Mahrez.
Oh, fucking Mahrez. He drives me nuts. When he doesn't score, it drives you nuts. I don't know how much you watch him when he's fucking jinking and jiving and you're like,
I had him
the fucking ball.
I had him last year in our fantasy league and I loved him and hated him. It was like great.
He's so fucking annoying to watch him play. All right, Mike, we're rambling. We're in the ramble zone. Can you take us home? Are you ready?
I mean, I suppose. Fine. 50 episodes, guys. This is fucking cool. I'm really excited about that. This was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent Cortines. We release new episodes every Monday and Thursday. Please do me a personal favor. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you give us 5 stars, we would love you very much, very long time. And even better, put something in the comments. Talk to us. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Give us a question, anything you're thinking, what you had for dinner. We'll listen to it. We'll talk about it in the next show. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Laurent, for 50 episodes. We're going to have a song and a whole dance number for 50 more at 100.